One of the hardest existential problems for anyone is to have a deep inner knowing that you do not belong where you are, and I mean to belong to the family, culture, species, or even planet they are in. I'd like you to also watch my video titled, "What is a Soul?" recently published. It can help with expanding the context for this video. Right now on Earth, there are millions of starseeds and more coming every year. That is another reason why there are so many people on Earth right now, because there are not only the same old souls that have been reincarnating there for several life cycles, through thousands and thousands of years, but there are countless new ones too, entering to have at least one strong and amazing experience as a human. According to Dolores Cannon, since around the year 1950, there have been 3 waves of volunteer souls that have entered physicality on Earth to help raise the planet's vibration, to be able to help advance the souls who have been reincarnating themselves several times in there, and to be able to move Earth into a new, much more positive stage she calls New Earth. This is a very good explanation as to why there are so many starseeds incarnating on Earth at this time. But in my perception, a lot more is going on with this, as my group and I see that many souls want to incarnate on Earth precisely because it is hard to live there, so they gain a lot of expansion and experience in one short, chaotic, highly fulfilling and frightening experience as a human, all this making them grow a lot in their consciousness and awareness. As I explained in other previous videos, people go to Earth to have that strong experience, not only incarnating there directly but also visiting as someone who belongs to another stellar culture but that looks human enough to be able to pass as one with a pair of jeans and a rock and roll shirt on. And there are many variants to this, as I have already mentioned before. But what problems do they usually encounter? First of all, it is said that forgetting whom they were before incarnating on Earth is essential to be able to experience what it is to be human in full, because if they would remember their past lives, and the simple fact that they are an eternal soul from higher realms and that you never really die, the experience on Earth wouldn't be as strong, and the souls wouldn't enjoy and benefit from the entire experience of being human. There is a lot of talk about memory wiping, souls having their memory erased right before entering Earth as a human, but in my understanding and as someone with somewhat of a different perspective, I don't see and I don't agree with any mind and memory swipe and erasure, with some kind of technological means, all to exploit souls recycling them, all this by some arcane evil force who has taken over Earth. How I see and understand what is going on there, is that the reason why souls cannot remember their previous lives as stellar people, with some exceptions of course, is simply because of a frequency incompatibility, where the memory of having lived in higher realms, in some other high vibration planet, or simply in the afterlife or between lifetimes, is of a very high vibration and frequency, and he contrasts a lot with Earth's mostly low frequency realm of existence. This makes it very difficult to remember anything beyond the planet's low-frequency realm, simply because the other realm's frequency and Earth's are so different and therefore incompatible. This is also why it is hard for most people to remember dreams, because they too occur in some very high, and much lighter experimental realm. In simpler words, the memory cannot tune into the physical body because of a simple frequency incompatibility, and here I must remind you all that from the perspective and understanding of my group and me, memory is not stored in the body, it is in the ether, and it only comes into the body through cellular translators called neurons, and though DNA acting as an antenna in every cell in a body. The problem with all this for starseeds is that their souls naturally hold such a high frequency that they end up remembering a lot of their previous lives and experiences before being human. And the most prevalent of these memories are not necessarily of specific events, but of a deep inner knowing that they belong elsewhere. And this deep inner knowing can make them very unhappy because they undeniably know that there is a better, more comfortable, harmonious, and loving place to exist in, and they have experienced it. Therefore they hold a very strong need to get back to that state or place where they feel and know they belong, and where they felt part of, accepted, and loved. All souls in the end are starseeds, but most have incarnated on Earth so many times before that they have already adapted all their frequency of existence, and their vibration to the one of that realm. So unlike what happens with newcomer souls, they usually do not feel a need to go back to another planet, and the feeling of having experienced a better place to live in is mostly associated with the afterlife alone and with utopian dreams. The strong inner knowing each starseed has about not belonging to Earth's realm can cause them much trouble throughout their lives. First of all, they face ridicule and gaslighting from their immediate family and friends, making them feel inadequate, damaged, crazy, or simply making them feel that there is something wrong with them, causing the starseed to enter a stage of self-denial, where they will try to adapt to their environment as best as they can. But this is only a stage starseeds go though, as they soon encounter the inescapable fact that they cannot stop being who and what they truly are. Although I must sadly say that many can stay at that stage, and even be absorbed into the matrix, becoming more humans, being impossible to differentiate one from the other. But for many starseeds, the strongest ones will end up realizing that it is impossible to adapt to a world that is intrinsically sick, and it is when they realize this that they will start to understand that they must develop skills to be able to navigate and manage their existence there. As a starseed grows older, it will start to realize that it cannot explain to its family and to most of its friends who they truly are. As I've said before, they only see what the starseed says as irresponsible fantasy, as not living in reality and with the feet on the ground, and many times it is also seen as simple madness. The starseed will soon understand that he or she must live a double life as best as possible, without going against their personal values and principles, and this can be very hard to achieve, more for some than for others, depending on the people who surround them. The good thing is that if a starseed is consistent and congruent enough with its values, sooner or later it will gravitate towards other like-minded people, or those will gravitate to the starseed, depending on the strength and vibration it holds. But there is the strongest type of starseed that can function alone on Earth, isolated from others, being congruent with their stellar identity and with their principles and values, and that have developed enough skill to navigate and even exploit the matrix to their advantage to be able to fulfill their life mission and expectations. And talking about life missions, these are the hardest to define as they depend only on the perspective, wants and needs of each starseed, where their sole presence and existence on Earth are more than enough to justify their presence and physicality as a human, yet saying this to them is not fulfilling enough for many, as they feel the need to be doing something more significative, and with more meaning other than just existing there, as some sort of etheric antenna only to bring the frequency and the vibration of higher realms to Earth. So, only each starseed can know its life mission and path. No other person can help them find it, only guide them as best as possible so they can find that life mission on their own. But one of the most important elements to achieve this is to first clearly know who you are, not needing anyone to corroborate it, knowing that you have enough truth and congruency within yourself to know and accept your otherworldly identity, and that you will never be able to adapt yourself to the expectations of being a human, living in that highly chaotic world and realm. In a few words, a starseed is a soul that has lived and developed outside Earth, having incarnated as several other extraterrestrial biological races before having one or more incarnations as a human. They are classified into two basic categories, wanderers and starseeds, where the first is when a soul has had the tendency to jump from being a member of one species to another many times before and not incarnating many times into the same one. And the second, starseeds, for lack of another name for this subgroup, is when a soul has a strong attachment to one or another star race, having incarnated as one many times before, therefore usually wanting to return to their star group and race they are comfortable with. Anyhow, they face basically the same problems while having a human experience on Earth. I will start with the biggest problem all starseeds face, which is a very large and difficult problem to overcome, and it is frequency and vibrational mismatch. A starseed is most usually a very advanced soul who has lived many incarnations in a much more advanced civilization than the one on Earth, cultures where ethics, spirituality, and overall values are much more just and harmonious as well. In those advanced civilizations and cultures, the personal well-being of each individual is almost guaranteed, so each person lives in as much harmony as possible, and in a nurturing society where it can develop to its full potential, even though there may be, and still are many problems there as well. They generally do not compare to the ones on Earth, and the hardship they cause. As I've explained in other videos, everything is consciousness and everything is energy, and it always works in terms of volume, vibration, and frequency. And each thought a conscious being is having is a frequency in itself, and if it is consistent enough, it will end up dictating the overall vibration of that being or person. Each soul will have a vibration unique to itself, and will also represent the vibration of the group where that soul feels comfortable in, at least mostly, and when that soul has lived many incarnations developing in advanced societies far from Earth, it will hold a frequency that is according to that society, and it will logically be of a much higher frequency than the one on Earth. So, when that soul arrives for an incarnation on Earth, it will hold a much higher frequency than the average one found on Earth's society. This will cause a severe frequency mismatch that will end up making the starseed feel that it does not belong on Earth, and this feeling is genuine for the starseed, and will make fitting into Earth's society very difficult for it because nearly everything there will not correspond to its vibration, causing the starseed to feel uncomfortable at best, and nearly anywhere on Earth, making them develop the need to create their own space, or bubble to live in, be it a physical place to be in, or a mental dual reality bubble that humans easily catalog as some sort of mental illness. This is a problem that is very easy to understand if you observe it in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, where a starseed is holding a different vibration than the average, therefore not fitting into that society because it is not more of the same, and it does not fit in, and never will. Now, let us observe the problem closely, and only in terms of energy flow dynamics. Most starseeds hold a much higher frequency than the one average people on Earth have. In order to achieve and hold a higher frequency you need more energy, so starseeds on Earth have a much higher energy soul pattern, including frequency and vibration than the average person. Do not confuse soul vibration energy with physical body energy. Although they are related, they are not the same thing. When you introduce something containing high energy into a field of low energy, that field will tend to automatically drain whatever is containing that high energy, and distribute its excess into itself, this obeying the principle of dominant frequency, which states that it will transform all other frequencies into more of itself. All people are in an energy field where we are all connected energetically, so when a starseed finds itself in a group of people who are not like-minded, therefore of another frequency, it will not only feel uncomfortable, but what is worse, its high energy vibration will flow from the starseed to the group of people it is in. The field will want to equalize the energy of everything that is inside it. Therefore the starseed will feel energetically drained by the experience of having been in a group of people who hold a lower vibration. As a starseed, if you find yourself in a group of people, or in a place that is energetically lower than your own, you will feel drained and tired, because the people that surround you are literally feeding from your energy. This is only logical, and this is why starseeds tend to protect their energy, needing much alone time, and retreating to the places where they feel most comfortable in. During any relationship, especially if it is an intimate one, the energy will flow from the high vibrational being towards the lower vibrational one, where the first will feel drained, and the second will feel invigorated. In psychological terms, this is exactly why a narcissistic individual, partner or whatever, will want to be around, or next to a high-frequency empath person, who usually are people pleasers, as they give the first their narcissistic supply of attention. The people pleaser will feel abused, ignored, and with their needs unfulfilled, while the narcissist will want to continue to be around the empath, because it makes him or her feel good. See this starseed and high-frequency people problem in terms of physics, using the law of thermodynamics. Whatever is hot, meaning more energy, will tend to dissipate its excess heat into the field that surrounds it until its temperature reaches the average. The first law of thermodynamics states that the total energy in a system will remain constant, although it may be converted from one form to another. The second law of thermodynamics states that heat always moves from hotter objects with more energy to colder objects, unless energy some way is supplied to reverse the direction of heat flow. As explained by the second law of thermodynamics, this is why starseeds need to recharge using alone time, or by interacting with like-minded people, as they recharge one another, and are stronger while in a group, because they create their own energy system. If you are a high vibration being, starseed or whatever you like to call yourself, you hold a lot of energy, you are that energy, and people with less vibrational energy will always want yours, consciously or unconsciously they will want it, and this is why you must learn to protect your energy, that is to protect yourself, know this. And one of the best ways to protect your energy is by developing healthy personal boundaries. Another related way is to stop being a people pleaser. It's not good for you and it is not good for them or your relationships either, because it means that you are giving away all your energy and all your resources to others who will not reattribute your actions, much less in the way you desire, need or want. This problem also causes the starseed to be catalogued by socially accepted psychologists as having a mental problem, many times even ending up taking medication because of the family pressure they are under, and they may end up accepting treatment simply because of their people-pleaser nature, or because they may be experiencing a low self-esteem and depression phase that causes them to lower their personal boundaries as they are severely energetically drained. And all that medication is essentially poison, aimed at suppressing the symptoms that in reality are caused by a person being far away from their natural environment and frequency. This frequency mismatch problem can be very severe, causing the high energy and vibration person to fall into low self-esteem, anxiety and depression, which can, and ultimately will end up making him or her physically sick. In my culture, when a physical illness is developed because of this cause, it is known as extraterrestrial syndrome, or as ET sickness. It happens and it is caused when someone that has lived his or her entire life in a high-frequency place and environment places all his or her attention and experiences on low-frequency things, subjects, and events, or what is worse, when the high-energy being is submerged or lives inside a low-energy field, and this is exactly what happens to starseeds, and if not addressed properly it can be lethal. It causes high cortisol and high stress, which leads to high blood pressure, and that in turn leads to organ failure, strokes and death. This is why all starseeds must learn to guard their energy, and why they must be as strong as they can be, as strong as they can get. Guard your frequency, that is who you truly are. There is nothing wrong with you, you simply do not belong in that world, but while you are there, be all you can be strong and fearless. It is a great challenge and a great test, I know, but you can do it. Stay strong out there, my dear friends.